Welcome to the Genius Talk podcast. I'm your host Atul Raj from the bestemailmarketer.com, and today we have Drewbie Wilson with us. Drewbie, thank you so much for joining and welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I know we're going to have a lot of fun today. We're already joking offline, so I can tell this is going to be a great show.
Yes, it will be. Okay, so for our listeners who don't know you, can you tell them who you are and what do you do?
Yes, so I am Drewbie, the self-proclaimed meme lord Wilson. So for those of you not watching on camera, I do have the words meme lord tattooed across my knuckles. I own a company named Call the Damn Leads. I'm an author, podcast host. I've been in sales pretty much my whole life, and I focus on helping people build a better sales system. And sometimes that's their personal side, their professional side. But at the end of the day, Call the Damn Leads is just your reminder to get out there and do the thing that you know you're supposed to be doing.
So I'm curious, what's the story behind Call the Damn Leads?
Well, so as I said, I've been in sales my whole life. At one point, I was selling home and auto insurance, and I've been doing that for about 5.5 years. And I kind of reached a plateau where I wasn't getting past certain sales numbers, and I was kind of struggling to break the record I'd set for myself. And so I started asking, what is it that I'm missing in order to break this revenue plateau, right? I think every salesperson or business owner gets to a point where they're making a certain revenue number and then they kind of stall out. And I've learned two parts. One, there's a mindset around what you have, your self-worth based in. And the other side is just not having enough leads and opportunity to make the money. That's, the truth of it is some people just need more leads so they can sell more of their product and service. They just don't have enough awareness in the marketplace. And so that's, to me, what I figured. I was like, well, I'm pretty good at what I do. I just need more awareness. So if I can go and generate my own leads, I'll make more sales and make more money. And guess what? I did that. I learned how to generate leads. I built sales pages. I ran marketing ads and got a bunch of leads and made a bunch of sales. And it was awesome. And I thought, this is amazing. And I ended up getting a couple calls from some guys in other agencies. And they're like, hey, man, what are you doing? And is it legal? Because you're making a lot more sales, but we just want to make sure you're not doing nothing sketchy. And I was like, no, it's totally legal. I'm building these ads. I can teach you guys how to do it. They're like, I have no interest in that. I will pay you money to do that for me, though. And I thought, that sounds pretty good. Atul, I ended up making $10,000 in a weekend setting up Facebook ads for these guys. And I'd never made 10 grand in a month working 60 hours a week. And I'm just going, holy crap, I'm in the wrong business. So genius me, young entrepreneur, as all of us do, we're like, hey, there's money. Let's go start a new business. And I started a marketing company. And I went and I got 10 or 15 clients in the, books and started generating leads. And guess what?
What?
I can be really great at what I do. You still have to pick up the phone and call those leads and do the work and have the conversations if you want to close deals. And you know what they weren't doing, Atul?
What?
They weren't calling the damn leads. And so I found myself just constantly saying this to people over and over. Just call the damn leads. Just call the damn leads, right? And so I remember joking about it and saying to my marketer buddies at the time, I was like, I'm just going to put that on a t-shirt and sell that. I could probably sell 1 million t-shirts and never have to deal with any of these idiots ever again. And what was once just a silly joke ended up becoming a full-blown brand and an opportunity to change the world, because from that, I got into consulting and working with a bunch of different clients and stuff over the years. So it really just became this mantra of, if you want to become more successful, the first step is to call the damn leads.
I'm just taking the notes. Send the damn email.
That's it. Send the damn email, right? Do the damn thing. It's not as difficult as so many people make it for themselves. But so many people will put that roadblock up, right? Remember I said making money is a 2-part process. 1, it's doing the work, but 2, it's getting out of your own way long enough to go and get the results that you're after. But people will rationalize, they'll make excuses. They'll say, oh, I got to take the dog out. I got to wash the dishes. I've got to send this other email before I actually pick up the phone and call somebody. And nothing wrong with emails, right? I'm a big fan. I think you have to have a multifaceted approach, and emails are a big part of this. But there's still something to be said about good old-fashioned, genuine human communication, right? People are going to listen to us because they want to hear what we have to say. There's a tonality and a cadence and a vibe and an energy that you can't necessarily get through email. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the biggest piece of why it's so important to have all of these aspects brought together.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay, so can you share a story where calling the damn late significantly impacted a business outcome?
I mean, I could sit here and tell you lots and lots of stories about them. And, if you're ever looking for some crazy sales stories, I actually have a podcast where we share crazy sales stories named Call the Damn Leads. One for me. Okay, so there was one point when I was selling insurance, when I first went to our training class, right? So when you get an agency, they send you to the big corporate for 2 weeks and you got to go through training and all that. And I remember they gave us a big stack of papers of leads, right? It had people's names, address, vehicle information, just basic details about them. And William Green was on there. And I remember I called William, I don't know, a couple dozen times while I was at training. And I got him once and he's like, yeah, call me next month when you get back to your agency. Cause like we were in practice, we couldn't even sell anything. It was literally just like making calls to people.
Mhm.
So I get back to the agency and I call and he's like, yeah, I'm interested. Call me next week. So I call him next week and he's like, call me in 2 weeks on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. And I'm like, that's a very strange ask, but like, okay. And so this went
Mhm.
on. We played this game for probably, I don't know, 6 months. And then he just completely ghosted me after that. But I kept sending letters to his house and I'd call and I'd leave voicemails and all this for quite some time. And I, never really thought about it because I built a machine that just every day when I walked in, I knew who I needed to reach out to. And it was just checking boxes and making the outreach. One night I'm sitting there late and I hear the doorbell chime, which was kind of odd because, like, even for an insurance agency, we didn't get a lot of foot traffic. So for someone to
Mhm.
walk in, especially at like a 6 p.m. at night, a little bit kind of different. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
poke my head out there and I'm looking, and there's this old skinny guy standing there and like jeans, his t-shirts tucked in. He's got white New Balances on, right? He's your 800 credit score all day long. And he's got this big like manila envelope filled with what looks like mailers from our office.
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Can I help you, sir?" And he goes, "Are you Andrew?" Because that's like my real name's Andrew, but everybody who knows me calls me Drewbie. But like that was what was on my business card. Was he's like, "Are you Andrew?" I'm like, yeah, that's me. How can I help you? And he said, "Well, you've been mailing me these letters for almost 4 years now, and you've been calling me every month, every other month for just as long." It's like,
Yeah.
first of all, kudos, like pretty impressive. He's like, I need an agent who I can trust isn't going to be gone in 6 months. And I've been with this current company for 2 years now, and every 6 months I have a new agent. If you can get anywhere close to the numbers and the coverage, and you promise me you're never going to not be my agent,
Mhm.
you got my business. And I went, well, let's take a look, right? So I do the run. He's got multiple cars, multiple houses, boats, motorcycles. Like he's an insurance agent's dream because he's just got so much stuff that needs coverage. And we ended up writing all of it that night. And it
Mhm.
was just from consistently calling and following up and just sticking to the process that I ended up winning his business. Now, what's kind of funny and terrible at the same time is I think
Mhm.
it was about a year later, from maybe 18 months after I signed his policies, that I ended up getting into marketing and going down this whole other path of success and no longer being an insurance agent. But hey, you got me for 18 months at least. And then, whatever happened from there happened from there. But that's one story I love to tell because it just, the follow up is so important. And people, if they don't get a sale right away, they just give up way too early.
So, what's your favorite follow-up move?
I love sending memes. Like if I didn't get that across clearly from the start, like I love memes. And the reason I love them is because sales can be sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say aggressive, but I mean it's a little bit of a battle between people, right? Cuz I'm a sales guy and my job is to get money out of your pocket, and you're a
Mhm.
consumer and your job is to protect yourself from people getting, from being taken
Yeah.
advantage of or paying too much for things. And so there's a little bit of a back and forth there that's required. And one thing I've learned over the years for me is
Mhm.
I prefer to do business with people who are like me. right? Like that I can vibe with, that I can have a good conversation. Not necessarily I'm trying to be friends with everybody, but like during this needs to be a fun transaction for me, or I don't want
Yeah, yeah.
like, so that's how I live my life and how I operate in business. And so when I'm using memes in sales, the idea is to re-engage the conversation in a way that is lightly humorous and not transactional.
Mhm.
And so there's so many layers to this, and we don't have, the hour-long presentation that I do from stage on this whole psychology process. But at the end of the day, I'll say the reason memes work so well is because when done correctly, they're very relatable for people. Atul, if you try to buy something and someone's following up with you and they're getting the same canned, like, hey, just checking in, are you ready to buy? Have you finished up the invoice? Like, you're eventually going to get a little bit bothered by that. You're like, dude, I got life, I got things going on. Chill out. I'm gonna do this when I'm ready, right? And
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
nuance to that. And email is another way we can follow up, right? I've used memes and emails too. Love it. But the point is we want to be delicate in our follow up. And so what I
Mhm.
think is when you know your client profile very, very well, age, demographic, pain points, pleasure points, like psychological triggers that get them to move and take action, because this is all stuff we can learn, right? This is deep level marketing stuff that you do. When you know this, I mean, you can go and grab an image from a movie or a TV show, or if you've got good notes on your prospect, maybe they mentioned a football team that they're a fan of, or they love dogs or cats, or any number of small little nuanced details that you can take and then run into a meme to get better attention. Because all we're
Mhm.
trying to do is just get them to like look at it and go, "Huh, I do need to follow up with this guy, right? Like, cool,
Yeah.
he got my attention. Boom, 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 boom. What's the next step from here?" Because that's all we're trying to do in any given point, marketing related, sales, emails, text messages. Like, it's all about attention. And if I
Mhm.
can just grab your attention for 8 seconds, I have a significantly better chance to keep you engaged with me to the next part of conversation where I want you to go. And I think that's the biggest thing that why I love memes, is because when done correctly and delicately and not as like a total creep or psychopath, you can build better relationships and people appreciate it more because it's just different.
Okay, so I'm guessing you have made some kind of meme swipe file.
Yes, I have a meme swipe file that you can get. I have a course that I have sold well over
Mhm.
2,500 copies of. It's called Closer Memes. You can get it at closermemes.com. Anybody who buys the course gets a swipe file with about 2,000 memes in it that I've used in all sorts. I mean, and there's some weird stuff in there, you guys. So like, don't judge me as you dig into the depths. It's got 5.5 years worth of memes. Like anytime I find one, I'm like, hey, let me throw this in there. Let me throw this. It's just filled with all sorts of wily stuff. But what's really cool about it
Mhm.
is there's people who have bought the course and then messaged me a month or two later and been like, hey, I used a meme from the swipe file and I just made a $3,000 commission. Or, hey, I just used that you good meme and it made me another $1,500 today. Thanks again, brother. Like, where can I send you a digital coffee or something? And I'm like, hey, I'm always up for that. Like, send it my way. It's just
Mhm.
so fun when you can share something with the world and then you get those messages of someone that's like, hey, I heard it. I did the thing. Here's the result. Thank you. It's such a blessing, and I know that's why you do this show, because like the more content you put out there, the more opportunity you get to help people find some new nugget of wisdom to implement in their life. And it's just, to me, that's one of the greatest things. That's why I do these shows. That's why I go out and I create this content, because when you can help someone change their life, man, it really makes a big impact on the world.
So, what does crush the day mean to you?
Crush the day. So when I started my personal development journey, I was overweight. I was unhappy in my sales position. I mean, for all intents and purposes, had everything I was supposed to. I was married, had a beautiful wife, house, kid, all the things, but I just wasn't happy. And so, like, the first thing I realized is every day I would get up and I'd turn on the news and it would be death, destruction, mayhem. Some mayor is cheating on his wife at the country club, just all kinds of negative stuff. And I was like, man, it's so easy to just go down that rabbit hole early in the morning. And at the same time, I was wanting to like start getting up earlier and working out and change kind of the direction I was going because my wife was, we'd either just had our baby or she was right about to have the baby, and I was fat and not doing the things I was supposed to be as a good husband and dad. I started waking up earlier and going for a walk. So I was like,
Uh-huh.
hey, I don't like to work out, and I definitely don't want to go to the gym and let people see me
Uh-huh.
be weak and all this nonsense because, egos will get you in the worst way. But I was just like, I'm going to go and walk and listen to content. And I always loved Jim Rohn. And he has a quote out there somewhere that's like, either you run the day or the day runs you. I was like, that's pretty powerful. And I love that, but I don't want to say that. And that's Jim's quote. But like, how can I say that in my own way
Uh-huh.
that fits what I'm trying to do? And it's like, well, I'm trying to crush the day because if I don't, it will crush me real quickly.
Yeah.
And so that's where Crush the Day came from. And every day when I'd wake up, I'd look in the mirror as I was rolling out the door, half asleep, like, all right, crush the day, Drewbie, like, let's go. And then when I started posting about this change in my life on social media, I would use the
Uh-huh.
hashtag crush the day before it crushes you. And then, one day I went and got a tattoo that said crush the day on it. So I was like, I'm going to get this like solidified in ink on my skin. And that tattoo logo ended up becoming the logo for the whole company and the brand. And so now we've got t-shirts and hats, and I've got people all across the country that, rep crush the day gear just because they want to get up and change their life. And I've gotten dozens and dozens of messages over the years from people that were like, hey, I wanted to skip the workout, but I could hear you in my ear saying, hey, go crush the day. Hey, go crush the day. And, like, again, it just
Uh-huh.
comes back to how much of a fun impact it is to make on the world, knowing that I'm just sharing the things that I'm doing in my life to try to make a change.
Okay, so I'm curious, like, where is that tattoo?
What do you mean?
Like that tattoo, close the day. Where is that tattoo?
I mean, it's all right back to the mindset, and it always just helping. We've got books, we've got all the stuff to really just get people dialed into living the life that they want to live. Because, like, we don't know how much time we have. Might as well make the most of it. That's why they
Okay,
go
okay.
crush today.
Yeah. Okay, so can you walk us through your morning routine?
Morning routine. Yeah. So right now, my alarm goes off right around 3:30 a.m. I try to wake up, drink a big glass of water first, because if you didn't know this, you're actually dehydrating yourself overnight. And so if you don't
Uh-huh.
drink water right away, it's actually harder for you to get up and get moving. It's kind of like an engine needs oil. It has to be lubricated. Crazy thought, your body is an engine and it needs to be lubricated. So drink more water, people. And not like, me sipping an energy drink over here because it's the middle of the afternoon, but like actual water. I got one of those over here too, right? You got to drink water. So I drink water. I wake up. I walk out to the living room. I kiss the dogs on the way through the house. And then I read, I pray, I meditate, and I have yogurts and berries for breakfast. And so the first thing I'm really trying to do is get my mental state right first thing in the morning so that no matter what comes at me afterwards, I'm in a good place mentally to handle it.
Uh-huh.
And so I read from the Bible. I have a couple of different daily reads that I have, John Maxwell and some leadership stuff, the Daily Stoic. And in that to me is my chance to prime the mind for whatever the day brings. After I've had breakfast, I drink my pre-workout. I start my wife's coffee. I wake her up. I take the dogs outside, and then I get in the truck and I go to the gym. I'm at the gym usually by 5 a.m. Monday through Friday. Saturdays, I'm usually there at like 7. Sundays,
Uh-huh.
I take off for church. And then, typically after the gym, I come home, I have breakfast with my son and my wife. We get their day started. They're out the door. I get my son on the bus every day for school, and then I start my work day. And that's my daily routine every
Okay,
day.
so you
Simple.
so so you woke up at so at what time you go to bed?
I usually try to be in bed by 9:30 at the latest, and I'm asleep by 10 most nights.
Okay, okay. Okay, with all the success you have, which personality trait would you attribute majority of your success to?
Ooh, that's a great question. What would I attribute the majority of my success to?
Water?
Big-headed stubbornness.
Okay.
I'm a stubborn SOB, and when I get my mindset on something, I'll go all in on figuring it out. I may also have like just a touch of something going on because I get like hyper fixated on problems. Like if I run into something, I'm like, I'm gonna solve this. I'll spend my whole day figuring it out. Like in between meetings, it's all I will think about all day long. It's like, how do I fix this? So I would say stubbornness is probably one of those traits that's really allowed me to get where I am now.
Okay, so looking back when you started, okay, What's one lesson you would tell yourself if you could restart again today?
People aren't going to want to hear this, Atul, but I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
You have to trust the process. Nothing good happens immediately. Everything great takes time. You have to trust the process. As I said earlier, many people quit way, way too soon because you don't see the immediate results. And I promise you, like everything in life, growth is incremental. If you came out of your mama's womb a baby and then immediately was 6 feet tall, it would shred you to pieces, right? Your body has to grow a little at a time. Or heck, imagine mom and dad go out, they have a fun night. That night you're conceived, all of a sudden in the morning you're 6 feet tall in your mother's womb. Like it just would not work, right? The math doesn't math there, people. So success is very much the same way. You have to trust the process. It's going to take time. It's going to be a little bit painful. There's going to be a lot of things that you think you have exactly right, and then you realize weren't right at all, but they were preparing you for the next thing. And so just trust the process.
So, for our listeners who want to connect with you, want to learn more about you, where can they go?
Visit callthedamnleads.com. Check us out on all the social media platforms. If you really wanted to check us out and do me a huge favor, share this episode that you just listened to right now on social media, whatever platform you prefer. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, we're on all of them. But share this episode. Tell the world, like, hey, I spent 20 minutes hanging out with Drewbie and Atul and I got some value out of it. And I think you guys should give it a listen, and then tag at Call the Damn Leads on that platform. That's going to give me the indication that you listen to this, you follow directions, and that you actually wanted to share this with the world. And anybody who does that, I would be happy to send a free download of my books or any of the content or anything that I have on my store that I can send you that would bring you some value, because it means a lot to me and Atul, because we're taking time out of our day, resources to put this together and share it with you. And so if you got something from it, share it with someone else. Like, that's the greatest gift that you can give. And then go check out Call the Damn Leads. We got lots of fun swag books, all sorts of stuff on Amazon if you ever want to check it out. But again, I really just ask that you share this episode because this is where you got the most value to start.
Awesome, Drewbie. Thank you so much for spending some time with us and sharing your wisdom. It was really fun chatting with you.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having me.
This is Genius Talk Podcast, and I'm your host Atul Raj from thebestemailmarketer.com, of course. So, speaking of email marketing, if you got some questions, challenges, doubt, or just simply need some help with your email marketing, then reach out to me at atul@thebestemailmarketer.com, and I'll be happy to help.